Amy Khan here for Seconds Out with British Boxing Hall of Fame trainer Shane McGuigan. Shane, Adam Azim said that he was angry in the build-up. Were you angry as well too? Apparently when he was winging the body shots, you were saying to him, did you feel that? Did that hurt?
I was winding them up. I think, what you got to do with Americans is you've got to play them at their own game. I remember Jermaine Franklin and his team came over to spar Daniel Dubois, and they were just giving it non-stop, mouth the whole time. So we're well versed, me and Dad and Jay, our team and that, and Josh Pritchard, we all just give him it back. And I think these people are confident, sort of. Everything they do is just based on confidence and mouth. You know what I mean? So you just got to hit them back with it every now and again.
Was this fight for Adam Azim less about the skill, but more about the management of him, considering that he was saying that he was angry? Maybe a type of fight like him is trying to get under his skin, and that can amp up him and maybe bring opportunities for Scobie to counter with something big. Was it about that more so than skills in this fight?
No, it was about skills. It's about skills. I mean, Adam's incredibly mature for a 23-year-old. He's, in terms of his ring IQ and his boxing skill and his boxing brain, he's very, very well poised. Sometimes he does get a little bit angry and want to make statements and stuff. But I said, these things come, mate. Just get behind a jab. You got to do everything in this fight. You got to, he's a world-class puncher, Scooby. He genuinely is. If you put your head there, he'd take it off. So yeah, you got to make him miss early. You got to move your feet. You got to stick on the jab. And then at the same time, every time he looks bad and looks vulnerable, Scooby, is when he's getting backed up. So you can't just stay on the jab and keep it long for the whole 12 rounds, because it's going to be boring. You got to press it to him. And after about the fifth round, at the end of the fifth, maybe 40 seconds before the end of the fifth, Scooby sort of tried to get close, and Adam just shortened it up with him. And that was the first time when he let him get in. And I saw that Adams was so comfortable. He hit him 2 shots and then stayed there. And I was like, okay, now we got him. Now you got to go and fight him in short for the next, because it's about making statements, And he did everything. He's looking sensational, and I genuinely believe he's the best 140-pounder.
My lip reading was right on the ring walk. You were telling him to stay calm in this fight. There was a couple of other instructions that you said whilst he got into the ring that you were saying I couldn't quite lip read, but what were you saying to Adam? And do you feel like you have to maybe say more to Adam than you would other fighters that you have in your stable?
Say it to everybody: stay relaxed, stay calm. It's just another sparring session. It's the one I like to use, because it really is. Once that, it's just, yes, it's small gloves and it can hurt a bit more, but you see it time and time again. And sometimes it's his first time walking out in a massive football stadium. There's a huge crowd there, big audience there. This is the first time someone's really genuinely tried to be gobby and get under his skin and be disrespectful. And try and intimidate him. So all of these things, they can lead to a scenario where he gets complacent and tries to sort of trade up with him too early on in the fight, and but he listens.
And that world title then next year?
It's got to be. He's just doing everything he needs to do. He's winning. He's winning all around. He's not losing rounds. He's beating guys with very winning records, well ranked. Obviously, Scooby wasn't that high up, but he was coming to win. And I think we just got to keep chipping away. It's a stacked division, but it's one that he's going to dominate in the next couple of months.
Couple of quick snack shots from you, if you don't mind. Richie Riakporhe knocked out Tommy Welsh. He said that he was looking for spicy fights, and one of the names was Daniel Dubois. How do you think Riakporhe squares up with Daniel Dubois if they ever get in the ring?
It's a big fight for Riakporhe. Riakporhe's speed will be a big advantage as a heavyweight, because that's something he lacked as a cruiserweight. You saw with Chris, but and he's got that density, he's got that power. Chris, as much as he was a world-class cruiserweight, he just doesn't have that frame to go up to heavyweight. He's too naturally lean as well. He couldn't put the weight and the body fat on to really get heavy. So but Riakporhe's definitely got that punching power. And he's always got a chance. But Daniel's a former world champion. It would be silly of us to say that that Riakporhe would win. But Riakporhe's tough. He's really tough. I've heard, I remember Moses Atuma coming down and talking to me about it and saying, this guy, he's tough. Moses bounced loads of shots off him and was he was surprised how tough Riakporhe was. So yeah, I think now that he's got the extra weight on him, he can be a force.
In terms of heavyweight division, Turki Al-Sheikh said that there's going to be a big fight in London, possibly for that heavyweight fight we wanted for so many years. AJ and Tyson Fury, who do you favour if that fight does materialise next year?
It's a hard one, man. I don't know. I mean, they've both been out of the ring a while. It depends how they prepare. I've always thought AJ, with his combinations, his speed. Tyson Fury, yes, he does punch hard. He's decent at power, but I've always favoured AJ in that fight just because of his combinations, and I think I think his speed and his the way he is, and I think he'll be confident going into it. I think he's always been wary about southpaws like Usyk and trickery fighters like that, and obviously big punches like Daniel was, but I think he fancies his chances against Fury.
Lastly, maybe I'm thinking too far in the future, but Adam Azim, 140, maybe has room to grow to 147. Conor Benn says he's coming back down to 147. Could you see them two in the ring in a few years' time?
He's trying to start a fight.
I'm just saying, these are one of those things that you look back on in the, when you come back a few years down the line.
I think he's targeting world titles, so whoever's got them, whether it's Conor or it's someone else, he wants to win world titles at 140, 147. He's friendly with Conor, but this is it. He's got to win world titles, and whoever's got him is on the radar.
They've sparred before.
They have a couple of times.
What was it?
Good sparring.
Leave that conversation for another day. Shane, appreciate it.